Welcome to BunniPhish Crafts. I'm your host, Heather, known as BunniPhish on Instagram, YouTube, and Patreon. And today I am going to introduce a year-long knit-along that is going to be very loosey-goosey in the rules. And I hope you'll take part with me. So, for me, 2022 is going to be the year of the blankets. I have 11 scrappy blankets going. And I really, 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 really want to start a 12th. But I'm not allowing myself to because I have 11 going. 11 scrappy blankets. So, if you have been around for a while, you will know that I go to the ZK pretty frequently, and I build up all of this momentum for blanket working on in December with advents and stuff, and then January 1st hits and I set aside my blankets and I don't work on them until all the small things happens in May or June. This year, I'm not going to the ZK because we have so many other things planned. So, I have this blanket momentum. I would like to keep it going through the year. So, there will be a little bit of a knit along aspect if you would like to participate. I know that a lot of people have scrappy blankets out there. So, if you want to participate, fantastic. We can cheer each other on through Instagram, and it'll be a lot of fun, or email. So you'll be able to enter via Instagram or by sending me an email with like pictures of your progress. And your progress can be whatever you want. It can be you finish just a little tiny nugget of a scrap. It can be you it can be that you finish a mitered square. It can be anything that is motivating for you. Because I know that I can sometimes feel bogged down at the idea of a knit along where I need to document every tiny thing. So each photo will be one entry, but that photo can be whatever you want it to be. There will be a Google form that you fill out. I'll have more about that at the end. So let's look at what I have. Are you ready? I'm a little overwhelmed, but I'm excited. So I have moved all of my scrappy things into the living room because when they're in my bedroom, they're like tucked away. I can't see them. We just cleared this bookshelf from one of the kids' rooms and brought it into the living room. And we were starting to put kids' things on it, but I decided I'm taking it for me. So let's see what we can see. I have up here, I have some spinning fiber. Up there is some spinning fiber, my wheel, so that it's like in my face and hopefully I do some spinning. But here you can see the start of my minis. This whole shelf is just minis. And then down here we get into blanket projects. So this is my Hexapuff blanket. Is this the longest? I think this is the oldest scrappy project that I currently have. I've made other mitered square blankets, but they're finished and have been gifted or are in use. I think this is the oldest of my blankets. It is not my priority blanket though. This right here is a bias strip blanket. So I think that someone just released a pattern that's similar to this, but it has strips on the bias, and I have right here, I have a little roll this is 3 strips together. My goal is to finish 2 strips and add them on. As you can see, I have several strips in progress that are, some of them are quite close. So once I get back to that, it should be fairly easy to meet that goal. In this beautiful yarn bowl, I have granny squares. Again, this is low priority. I just want to continue to add to them. That will be a blanket that I finish whenever I finish it. In this yarn bowl, I have flowers. So, well, this wasn't in the bowl, but there you go. There's a flower. And I am going to edge them in this white yarn and then put them together like that. Again, kind of low priority. I would like to have 100 flowers attached by the end of the year. I have something like, I don't know, 8 attached right now, but that's low priority. So the flower blanket is for my daughter when she moves out, and the Hexapuff blanket is for my son when he moves out. On the shelf, so this blanket is not actually a blanket I need to finish. This is a blanket I need to fix. In one of my previous vlogs, I showed this blanket. It has a giant hole in it. It's actually one of 2 blankets that I want to fix this year. So yeah, that's on there. Once I start fixing it, it should be a fairly easy fix. I just need to pull out the blanket like somewhere down here, like put my needles in, pull out the blanket, pull off the border, reknit a little bit. In here, I have my nor'easterly, and I have 2 different nor'easterly, like 2 needles going with nor'easterly strips. I have 1 strip completely to the length I want on one needle and then started another, and then on the other I have 3 strips side by side. That's the beginning of one of them. So that's not really high priority. It's just I would like to put in some effort on it. This right here is a mitered square blanket for my best friend, and I am doing it in 4 panels, but they're not all the same size, and then I'm going to do sashing in between the panels and put them together. This I would like done this year, so that's blanket number 1 that I think I can finish this year easily. I also have right here this crocheted blanket. It's just a little linen stitch blanket. The rules for this is that I want the yarn that goes into it to look like things I could find in a garden, and I think that I've been pretty successful at keeping it like that. So the end blanket is just going to be bright and loud and a lot going on. In my new project bag that my student got for me, I have another mitered square blanket, but these mitered squares are much bigger than these ones. So these mitered squares are knit on a US size 0, 2.0 millimeter, and they are only 15 stitches per side. The squares in this miter, which I will show you in just a moment, are knit on a US size 2, 2.75 millimeter, and they have 20 stitches cast on per side. So let me go ahead and open that up and show you what that looks like. So as you can see, this square is much bigger than these squares, even though it's only 5 ridges bigger than one of these squares. It's because of gauge and cast on. So this blanket, this mitered square, the large one, I think I can finish that reasonably easily this year. So that is blanket number 2 I would like to finish. And then the bottom shelf. So in this bin I have these barn raising squares, and I started seaming this forever ago. I don't know. I definitely have not worked on it at all in 2021. So these are blocked and then seamed. I have a whole bin full of squares. I have all of the squares I need for this blanket. I just need to put it together. So this is blanket number 3. That should be fairly simple to put together. My plan is to seam a couple squares a week at my teaching at the yarn shop on Saturday, or on Mondays, I mean. I should be able to finish this. It's going to be so beautiful. I just don't want to seam it together. But I'm going to. In this bag, I have my blanket for me. So you can see right here that this is sashing knit in between pieces. Why did I set this down? I don't know. Probably because I'm at the boring sashing part. And knitting squares is fun because it's like a little tiny finish every time you finish one. And knitting this part is a slog. I just said it, it's a slog. So this is blanket number 4 that I think I can finish this year. I just need to focus on it. This is what I want to take with me to the movies. I just couldn't find it the last time I went to the movies, but I found it now. No excuses. It's right here. It's in front of my face. I can see it. It's going to be so beautiful. Look at that. It's going to be so beautiful once it's finished. I just need to do it. And the 5th blanket I want to finish this year is this corner to corner. And I am pretty close. I'm on the decrease section. You can see that's where it's squared off. And so I'm on the decrease section. The main thing holding me back from finishing this blanket is that the yarn needs to go through all of the other blankets to get there. But since I'm going to be working on the blankets a lot, that should be totally doable. So those are my 11 blankets in progress, but I have more to show you. So Colby is modeling one of the blankets I plan to fix this year. You can see right there a giant hole. It's currently drying. It was in the laundry, and that is where my dog usually hangs out, right next to me. So my sister made this beautiful Afghan when she was in Alcoholics Anonymous. She made 1 square a day for the first, I don't know, 3 months or something. I don't know if that's accurate, but for the very long time. And as we were cleaning out my nephew's space, he was just going to throw it out because it has a giant hole. But I put it through the wash to see what was going on. And there's actually quite a bit of it that is not damaged, and even on the other side of the hole. So I am going to take out the squares starting right above where Colby is. You can see this black line right here. I'm going to take out this row, take apart everything from there down, and crochet it, reattach the squares. I'm not going to make additional squares. I'm just going to take what's there and reattach the good squares, because like this is a perfectly fine square. That one's perfectly fine. There's just this big hole right here. So yeah, that is how I'm going to, that's the second blanket I'm going to fix, and that is how I'm going to fix it. And let's go ahead and pivot to this shelf over here. See, I told you that I had a lot of bags of scraps. All of these bags are full of scraps or mini skeins. These are minis from Haley that I still need to work through. Minis that I got from Germany last year to work through. These have already been put into the mitered square blankets. and crocheted into flowers and granny squares. So they just need to go into the other blankets. My first goal is to clear out this this space so I can start, adding into it again. Those are scraps. This is a project. So this is a cowl made out of singles yarn. And this bag right here is actually all singles yarn. So my plan is to work that into that. But I'm talking about blankets today, not about cowls. That is a sock project. That's just sitting there. But look at all of these minis. So these need to be worked into the large mitered square. Once I do that, I'm putting the minis into here to put into the small mitered square because that's something I can easily take with me to school. And then I told you that there was a 12th blanket that I would like to start if I manage to finish 5 other blankets. So over here, hopefully you can see, I have reward candy for myself, but also yarn that is completely green. So if I meet my goal, finish 5 blankets, I am going to start this blanket. This blanket is going to be only green yarns, or yarns that mostly read green. I mean, that's open to my interpretation. Like, obviously this is not completely green. It has the silver in it. But I am going to hold at least 2 strands together to make the blanket, maybe 3, and do something like, I don't know, a garter squish or whatever that's called by Stephen West, I think, where you hold like 7 strands together and make something really, really big and squishy. Mine will be more like a DK worsted weight blanket, I'm thinking. But yeah, I would really, really, really like to start that this year. So I'm hoping I get there. Wish me luck. What are your big plans? Do you want to take part in the year of blanket? Do you have blankets to fix or blankets to finish? I would love for you to take part in this too. There will be a hashtag. It will be it'll be over here because I don't know what it is yet. I have to check out your Instagram hashtags, and it will be right below the screen right here also. Yeah, and if you want to start before the first of the year, absolutely. I am going to make a Google form, and I am going to put that link right down below. And if you want to participate, you can fill out the Google form, and it will ask just a little bit of information about you, identifying information, and then pause. I'm going to sit. And then you will have the option of either posting to Instagram with the hashtag tag me, and then fill out that Google form so I can see it. The Google form will ask you where you posted it, or you can send an email with pictures to bphraffle@gmail.com, and feel free to put more than one. Like, if you're making squares, you can just take a big block picture of all of them, or you can submit them individually, however you want to do it. I think I'm going to pull prizes randomly, and prizes will be for mini skeins of yarn out of my collection. So they'll be fingering weight. I won't pull singles for you, but they could be commercial yarn or they could be indie dyed, of varying sizes. So if you're interested in that, please enter. And I think that I don't know how exactly how I'm going to pull. Or you know what, if you're doing a uh, a scrappy worsted weight, like worsted weight acrylic project, absolutely go for it. And you can, when I pull winners, I have some acrylic um, worsted weight yarn scraps that I can send to. So that's an option because I don't want anyone to feel like they can't participate. So I'll talk to prize winners when we get there, but prizes will be drawn randomly from the entries that have the Google form submitted. And either way you submit your pictures as evidence is fine. I think that if I say now that I'm going to pull a winner every time or every month or something, I never will. I will forget. So what I'm thinking, what might be more effective for me, is every time I clear out a bag or a container or like this little cup right here, probably the cup and the Haley minis will go together. But every time I clear one of those out, or the vase, I will pull a winner. So I win, you win. It should be exciting. I would love to hear if you have any goals. You don't have to finish, by the way. You don't have to finish a blanket for it to count. Just progress. Progress on a blanket. You want to show me that you want to take a picture of a mini that you put into a granny stripe blanket that's all used up now? Perfect. You want to send me a picture of every mitered square you make, every granny square, every row you put on a blanket? Sure. Whatever is motivating for you. I want you to be motivated. I know that it will be motivating for me to see you motivated. So let me know down below what your thoughts are. And these are not hard, fast rules. If you change your mind, fantastic. I do that all the time. We will see how long I hold this year of blanket. I might need a cheerleader when it starts getting hot out, just so you know. All right, friends, thank you for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to give it a like if you did, subscribe if you're not already subscribed. If you hit the bell notification, then you'll know when I post videos. Follow the hashtag on Instagram if you're interested. I know I will be. And I will see you soon. Bye, friends.